Welcome to the Michigan Golfer Show. Join us each week as we explore the people, the places, and the events that shape our great game.
Hi, I'm Jack Berry, and we're at the Michigan Golf Hall of Fame, and with me is Bob McMasters, who is a Hall of Famer and is the man who is responsible in a large part for the Michigan Golf Hall of Fame and putting everything together. Tell me, Bob, how did you do it?
Well, we have a good committee, and I've got a lot of hardworking people and a lot of experience, and it was just a matter of, it's kind of like our friend Mr. Jackson said, I just was a straw that stirred the drink sort of thing, and we were very lucky to have the Osprey Group offer us space here where we could display some of our artifacts. And prior to this, it was good graciousness of Stan Aldrich at Indianwood, and our committee felt that our artifacts should be in a public place rather than a private country club. And Stan understood and very generously let us take the things that had been donated, the artifacts that had been donated, and bring them to a new location. So that's how I got involved with it. And of course, Ken Janke, who started the whole thing with Stan, has been a friend of mine for well over 50 years, when he was a caddy at Plum Hollow and I was a caddy at Red Run.
We talk about those caddy days at Red Run, and they kind of led to a pretty nice education for you.
Well, the thing was, in 1943, my mother had her fifth child and was anxious to get me out of the house, and I was underfoot, and one of the neighbor boys, a couple of years older, said, "We can go caddy." I was 8 years old, and times were different, of course, and I went over there, and you could rent a cart for a quarter and start caddying. And I did that year, and I caddied for 9 more years, so it was 10 consecutive years I caddied, and it became a way of life for me. I mean, I watched those good players. Watch Ed Fergal used to come over and practice all the time. Frank Walsh was a pro. He liked the young kids. I got to play in, and I got to be a fairly good player, and so they gave me some privileges there, and so I really loved it. But it wasn't until the Western Golf got involved that my fortunes really changed, and that's when I found out about the Evans Scholarship Program, and very dear to my heart. It paid my room and my tuition for 4 years at the University of Michigan, as it still does. The philosophy was, if you give a kid a place to sleep and pay his tuition, he'll find out a way to get his books and earn his meals. And it's worked that way for over 77 years in the making, and a great program.
Well, I'll tell you, Bob, you talk about people who are volunteers. I have never known a better volunteer who has done more for more things in golf than Bob McMasters, including the new Evans house at the University of Michigan. They named that after you, didn't they?
They did, and my name is not usually connected with scholarship, but they felt that I'd worked hard enough. We built the Michigan State House in 1988 and raised all the money here in the state of Michigan, and so when the Michigan House needed to be rebuilt, they again asked me to become involved. I did, and we raised most of the money to build that house. And in respect, I guess, they named the house after me. I had nothing to do with it. It was a secret, and I didn't know it until we got there. And my wife had got the boys home. One is from Virginia, and one was from Memphis, and they came home for the celebration, and I didn't see them until after it was announced. So that was a surprise, a pleasant one, but maybe a little overkill.
Well, Bob is also president of the Western Golf Association and had the very pleasing chore, I'm sure, of presenting the winning trophy and check to Tiger Woods a few years ago.
Tiger Woods, that was in '97, the first year he was pro, first full year, and the year before that was Steve Stricker, and of course I got to play with Steve Stricker in a Pro-Am, and great guy, really a wonderful guy. That was the first tournament that Steve had won, and it was very emotional. His wife was on the bag. He was from the Chicago area. He married a Madison, Wisconsin girl, and he won the Big Ten championship down in Illinois. And I mean, just a great story for him to win his first tournament in Chicago. So it worked great.
And then Bob is also the president of the Golf Association of Michigan. I'm surprised he hasn't been in the White House.
Well, like Bill Bond said last night, I don't know if you saw that special. I mean, I can't be quite that pompous, but Bill says that one of the senators, either Obama or McLean, will probably be president, of course, unless Bill Bonds decided to run. I thought he was great. He was right. He was right in character. But it is. The Evans Scholarship is important to me, and even today on special occasions, I wear my cufflinks made from my honor caddy badges. Western Golf used to appoint one or two kids at each club as a special caddy, and they'd be the honor caddy. And I won 2 honor caddy things, and so you know how these things sit around in drawers. Didn't know what to do with them, so I said, I think I'm gonna make some cufflinks out of them and wear them on occasions like this. So
Terrific. Never more handsome. And Bob was also a very fine player. Played a lot with Chuck Kosas over the years, and they were very good friends. And it was a lot of interesting stories.
Well, of course, I won't go into Chuck Kosas' stories, but I had the pleasure of being his caddying for him. He was a very gracious man to caddy for. He wasn't a big tipper, but I didn't care about that. I wanted to watch him play. And then I had a couple of rare occasions of being a fellow competitor, and the most fun I had was after I turned 55 and he was watching the calendar. He asked me to play in some senior tournaments with him, and we went down to Texas, down to El Paso, and down to Dallas, and we won every time we played.
Emerged victorious.
Well, I mean, you have to. He's a grinder. He was 78 years old, and I mean, he's just grinding like it's going to be a loaf of bread for him. What a competitor.
We've been talking with Bob McMasters, a member of the Michigan Golf Hall of Fame, and also a man who's largely responsible for getting this all done. Thanks very much, Bob.
Thank you, Jack.
Yeah.
Take care.